Hey, welcome everyone to the Sketch Zone podcast. I'm Carlos Gomez, and that's Charlie B. Williams III.
What's up, Sketch Zone Nation? I'm back. I'm here. I'm happy to be here. Let's go.
You have a good week?
Yeah, it's snowing, and it won't stop snowing.
That's dumb.
I'm kind of pissed about it because you got to do your driveway and stuff like that. First day last Saturday, cool, doing the driveway, doing the whole pushes, snowblower thing because I'm elite like that. We're doing good. We're doing good. Don't have to do it. Got a method down and stuff. Throw salt down afterwards. Got a perfectly clean driveway, and everybody else is struggling. My shit looks nice. Cool. Works good. Sunday, go back out, do it again because the plows at the end of my street. When they go past my driveway, they like to plow it in because they're racist. No, they're not. They're not really racist. I'm just kidding. Sorry about that. But anyway, that's how I feel when I look outside after working all morning on my driveway, and I have like the base of the mouth of my driveway covered in snow. What's going to happen if I let that sit? I could just like ignore it, but no, it's going to turn into ice, and it's going to be this weird, huge excursion to get into my driveway. So I clean it. Monday comes around. I'm at work. I look out the windows, the big ass windows in the West Loop here in Chicago. It's snowing. Am I happy? Do I say, oh, it looks pretty? No, I'm thinking my driveway is getting covered when I get home. Because I don't get home till 7. What happens after the sun goes down if you live in the Midwest? It's no longer snow anymore. It's ice. It's hard. It's kept doing this all week, Carlos. You know how you're supposed to, because you used to live in Chicago.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. It's gonna let up and then we'll be good. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna like shovel one more good time. I was out there shoveling on Wednesday night with the shovel because it's just low enough where you can't use your snowblower on this.
Right.
People look at you weird, like why you messed up your snowblower.
Right.
Just shovel. But then you get out there and you hit it and like you're gonna break your shovel because it's ice. And then you're pissed. Then the driveway wins. You walk away because it's like, this is all ice. There's nothing I can do.
Right. And people don't understand, like, yeah, Chicago's cool and all. And just like John Harrington in the chat. Oh, by the way, hi, John. Hi, Noel. Noel's already off to a good start.
Yes. What up? Hey.
Hey, John. Like John said, it's all ice now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
so I get it fixed. I get it all out. I chisel it. I say, fuck you, snow. I'm going to go get my snowblower, my big brother, and we're going to sit here and I'm going to grind you out. So I do that. I'm out there grinding. My little butcher neighbor across the street's just standing there watching me like, damn, this dude's committed. So I'm like, I'm grinding it all out. I get it to like a somewhat decent level. Then I'm like, I'm not done. I'm talking to the snow at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night now. It's dark. And I'm outside in my driveway talking to my driveway. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get salt for your ass too. And I'm just going to salt the shit out of this whole driveway. Can you see it? I'm cussing a lot. You can see how like angry I get with the snow, and then I start to see like glimmers of like concrete, and I'm happy. And I'm happy. And then what happens when I wake up this morning? More snow, and like it's not snow anymore. In the morning time, it's like ice, and like my stoop is doing good, and the bottom part is doing good. So I'm like, skip it. Long as my kids don't fall.
Right.
Coming outside because I have a high stoop because my house was built in like 1930. I have like a high stoop, so it's nothing but concrete. So if Violet falls off that, it's the end of her life there.
Yeah,
she's done, or it's a big, huge hospital bill, broken arm,
right,
or something. So it's good. It's just an ongoing thing, and it's supposed to and it got cold. So now it's cold. So tonight it's supposed to be like it's supposed to drop to like 8 degrees, like the smack your mama code, like you hate your life, like
so stupid.
Like you get off the L and you only got about 3 blocks to walk, or like 2 blocks. Really, you really can see your building after you get off the L, but it's it's a good distance away. Right. Halfway through that walk, your toes are cold, even though you got boots on. Like that's the type of cold is supposed to happen tomorrow, and it's on a Friday. That shit's supposed to happen on a Friday. Like this is what I hate about Chicago in the Midwest in the winter, like this part right here, because I thought I was gonna have like a like subdued winter. I thought global warming took its course, and we're just gonna get a lot of like cold and no snow. I could deal with like frigid cold if there's no snow out. We had no snow for Christmas, none. It was nothing. until about 2 weeks ago. Now we're like,
okay, so I have to
crazy.
correct you because people keep just saying the wrong thing. So global warming is not the proper terminology.
I was making a joke.
No, I know,
Okay.
but I need to because it's frustrating, especially when you have the president who is a climate change denier. Meanwhile, we all remember back a few years ago when it wasn't like back to back to back to back winters of just brutal cold, right? So it's climate change. So I have legit been on boats with scientists saying we need to be better.
Well, that's why we need to figure out light speed. We can just get out of here.
We can just
figure out
jump,
light speed.
light jump.
There's other places. There's probably some beautiful planet with weird ass animals on it. Ooh, some could kill us, but you know what? We'll claim those.
Put a little post-it note on that because there is actually I'm gonna leave my
Yeah, my post-it notes. We're coming back to this.
Yeah. I want to get through the beginning part of the show. So I know there's a bunch of you in the chat. Hello, Noel. Hello, John. If anyone else is there, let me know your name and we'll give you a little shout out. And just like them, if you're trying to catch up to us live, do so. Otherwise, you can use the Sketch Zone hotline to reach out to us. 408-SKETCH-8, 408-753-8248. International callers, please use. Hey-o, Alonzo's here. What's up, man? What is international caller? 011-408-753-8248. Loses his posts and finds them months later. Yes, but I still deliver on my promise. And I have not emailed it to you, so I'm leaving myself another note.
What are you doing? You haven't given a picture yet?
No.
Oh, man, you are the worst. That's not why. You forgot, didn't you?
Well, I did in such a big way.
Exposing.
It's so bad. Actually, as this show unfolds, I will be sending that over. Yeah, so the cool thing is Alonzo is going to be coming on the show next week when all of us are here, so we're going to geek out next week. If you are into animation in any way, shape, or form, whether it be movies, 2D, 3D, gaming, we don't care. Next week is going to be that
Alonzo
week.
Alonzo
next week is going to be that week. Alonzo's coming. He's going to school us on animation.
Is he demoing next week? Can we get him a scenario to
well, we're not going to scare him. We're not going to try to scare him away.
He's got 12 years. He's fine. He's fine.
Let's see if we can't get that.
Yeah, demo. Something you can work on the show while you're talking. We're not gonna be like letting you just sit there and do it. That's not how we roll.
Until then, let's go ahead and take a look at the
that's fun prompt. What was it last week?
Last week it was a police officer. Let's take a look. Police officer in Chicago, right? So here we go. John Harrington.
That looks about right as a police officer.
I think just about right. It could totally fit into this week too. Oh, hey, chat room, please start taking a look at the different categories. Start letting me know what we should pick. So we got Joey Wall.
Joey's stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is like, I don't know if this is Halo.
He just took a screenshot of a video game.
SWAT or this Chicago in 2049? Where like, what's that one movie where it's the prison or something? They go through the different levels. It's that like it's an offbeat movie. Like it's called like I don't know. It's called The Hideout or something like that. You go through each level. I think it might have been like not John Woo, but one of those like who's the other martial arts expert? There was in
Jackie Chan.
Nope, not him. The other one, the darker one, the one that did Jet Li. That one. That's the one that didn't smile.
Yeah, he showed up to places to kick ass and smile, and he was never in a good mood.
He always got the one-liners like, "Maybe it's you, maybe it's you."
Catch this fist.
yeah. So just like, catch this fish.
So yeah, good job, Joey. I know you're about to wake up any minute now, so we'll probably head back to this just so you can see your work.
There it
All
is.
right.
Star Wars Death Trooper. That's what it is. I knew.
Yeah.
Yo, they hired the Empire to clean up the streets of Chicago.
Right. Send over some stormtroopers.
Yo, Darth Vader's like a detective. Oh, that might be a fun problem. You know, Vader's like a detective. Don't care. Just don't care anymore. He's just corrupt. You know, he's going up to aldermen's like with the death grip. Yo, you will get your people in line. Oh, that's good.
Too funny.
Mm.
All right. Let's see who else chimed in. Hey, that's your boy.
Nice. Oh, whoa. Why is he moving? Whoa.
Come on, son. Come on, son. Man.
You.
Yo, that's my boss. Yeah. Yeah. He's like,
Jesus.
A pity if your window, if your windows break, they will.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah.
What setup it was. It was a setup. Yes, it was.
Thanks, John. Yeah, this one was fun. I had a good time doing this one. All right, I think that's it. I think that's it for this week. Nice and quick.
Cool.
Yeah, Jack is actually, that's your fun prompt. MPT right there. Star Wars Gangsta Noir. That would be, yeah. Prompt. Oh, okay. That comma threw me away or threw me off. That's your fun prompt right there. Star Wars Gangsta Noir. I like that.
Dude.
I like that. We're not even going to go to the fun prompter.
Yeah, let's do it.
Even John is down. Yeah, buddy.
That was Gangster Noir. This sounds crazy.
That's going to be...
somebody draws Vader as a detective. The corrupt. Like, it'd be like Training Day, but he'd be Vader. Yo!
Chewbacca ain't got nothing on me.
Vader's like, huh? Is that right? Is that right? Oh man, if I can just get James Earl just to do a couple lines, I would die a happy man.
That would be.
Can you imagine if he just starts to like cuss somebody out in that Vader voice? Look here, motherfucker.
Man, yeah. If he took that deep voice and went street with it, oh hell to the no.
And just start adding in other gangster movies like just some New Jack City.
You know, he's gonna look at.
I am my brother's keeper.
He'll be like, Luke, who's your daddy?
Your mother, Luke. She was up before she met me.
Oh my god, this is so good. All right,
yeah, I want a Star Wars New Jack City. Let's go. Let's do it.
I like it.
Look about it. Cause think about it. Nino Brown, white, and then black. Remember, he was like white. The one guy was dressed in white. Nino Brown was dressed in black. Yeah,
yeah. I love that movie, man. What's going to be cool is it was actually Alonzo who came up with this, and he's going to be on the show next week.
Noel, don't sleep with the fishes. You must.
I think we have a show title. I think we have a show title.
I can't wait. Yeah, that's perfect.
The fishes.
You must.
You must.
Yo, I can't wait for Jack to read that title randomly on the plane somewhere coming back. He'll be like, what?
Yeah, so speaking of animators, Jack is traveling for work as we speak. I believe he is in what did I say?
Singapore, you say?
No.
Korea.
I believe he's in Korea. We got a link for crap.
Yeah, what is it though? It's like well, it's YouTube, so we should be good.
Yeah. I clicked on it and it messed with my
see?
It messed with my chat. So,
I did not.
I don't want to accidentally put myself on timeout because, feelings get hurt when people get put on timeout.
Man, here we go. Why don't you send her stuff? You don't need no brown you.
Right. All right. I'm going to get that graphic ready.
What up, Joey? Good morning.
Speak. Hey-oh, I told you he was about. Hey, look, Joey, look. Yeah, buddy. We just had a long conversation about this art. Great job, by the way. I think it's really cool.
What?
Illustration character. I wanted to see, are you using Photoshop or Procreate for this? I think you answered that before.
What are you showing? Or what are you looking at?
Oh, that might help, huh?
Yeah. Excuse me.
Hey, there you go, Joey. Boom.
Yeah.
Done.
I think was it Procreate?
I have a book of art at this rate with Carlos.
Yeah, stay on his neck, Noah.
I know. Be like, look, I'm just gonna draw pictures for her and then send them to her. Be like, here, I'm about.
I don't know if the chat is bigger, but everybody's icon looks new to me this week. I was like, Noah, is that a new profile? I was like, Joe, and then like I didn't never knew Joey's wall had like. Is this like looks like a scuba diver with a balloon?
Hey, everyone in the chat, you know that Adobe is going to be coming out this year. Adobe is going to be coming out with, we're talking about Procreate right now, but Adobe's coming out with Photoshop and that new painting program. Are you guys looking forward to those? How about you, Charlie? Like this whole mobile computing stuff.
No, I don't like it.
Nope.
Because I don't use it. I appreciate Procreate though, but with Adobe in particular, the one thing I was excited about that I knew I probably would use a little bit, but I wouldn't use as much. But I was still really excited about. They haven't really shown yet, and that was this mobile. I felt like it was truly innovative, and because I hadn't seen anybody else do it really. Like this, and it catered such toward like illustrators and typography people to do typography, and I'm sure other artists would have jumped on it, motion artists, all these other places. Where at Adobe Max 2 or 3 years ago, the first year you went, probably I think the same year you went, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, they showed off a font program on the iPad that was like ridiculous, like where they were just like changing the font on the fly, and then they'll change one kerning or one serif or something on the end of the font, and then then they're like, cool, and it's like, now that you've changed the end to what you like, look at this, we hit a button and it propagates through all the rest of the alphabet. Now you have this your own custom font.
Oh yeah.
Don't know what happened to it. Don't know where it's at.
Yeah, they did work on some font editing stuff or font creating stuff.
Yeah,
but nothing
like that, because it was on an iPad, or it was on an iPad. That program was running on an iPad. I was like, what is this program and why are you like showing it to me? And they didn't show it last year, so I'm like, where's that? So maybe you'll show it this year. Don't know, but that was the only really thing I saw.
They may be just.
And I didn't hear much about the painting program, that new painting program. I don't know much about that one too, but it sounds interesting. But you know what? Photoshop is like, Photoshop, all that stuff for the 3D artists has been non-existent for like, the last couple of years. I would say the last 5 years for sure, 5-6 years. Just based off of another company coming in and like rechanging how artists texture and paint for VFX and games and print and illustration and all that good stuff. So That's been one of the main things that I think that Adobe's been lacking with. So I haven't really looked at any of those other new stuff. But that font program was the biggest one that I saw in it. I haven't seen it yet. Again, I can't remember what it was called. I remember it was whatever year they had the celebrity guest on stage. It was kind of like the color commentary. It was the guy that they always have doing the Yule log videos. He has the serious face, does the dry humor, but he's always what's his name? He's a guy he's what's his name? It was maybe he's on Parks and Recreation. Wears a beard, has a beard. I'm never gonna be able to describe this dude. It's the average looking white dude. I don't know. Don't know how to describe him. Literally don't. But his whole thing in comedy is like when he's talking, he looks serious, but he's not. But it's funny, but he's not serious. Like he's got he looks lumberjacky. Doesn't
Noir said dry eyes for clear eyes. Dry eyes for clear eyes guy. I don't know what that even means. I think she might be on.
Yeah, I'm lost knowing what that.
Loco Moco.
Is that the guy I'm describing?
I have no idea.
Are you the Charlie Whisperer today? It's gonna oh, I think that is.
Oh, she's talking about. About that old dude.
I think John Harrington might have got it. That looks familiar.
Nick Offerman. Oh, wrong chat bubble. What do you mean wrong chat bubble?
Who are you talking about? Who are you talking
to? How many podcasts are you watching? Oh. You tell me if this is it. All of this is leading up to something. We're not.
Yes, chat. You are amazing.
Yeah.
That's the most generic description I've ever given of anybody. How did you know? Lumberjacky, beard.
And that's what's funny. Charlie
face.
Said lumberjack white dude with a beard, and they knew exactly who the hell it was. I wonder, hey, do black folks do that with other black folks? Like Spanish people, we all kind of look alike. But if someone were able to come up to you and be like, Charlie, there's this black dude with a mustache, bald, and sings. Do you know who the hell I'm talking about? I don't even think any black dudes do that.
Can't do that.
No. Okay. White folks, you guys are on it.
I don't know how y'all got that. Oh, because I said Parks and Rec? Okay.
Oh, okay.
I even thought that was wrong. I was like, is it 30 Rock or was it Parks and Rec? But I knew it was Parks and Rec.
My first guess was going to be Patrick Coleman. Oh, you got to give a show. Okay, that's all right. Well, that's enough of that. So anyway, John, so Adobe announced that they're going to be coming out with Photoshop for the iPad, and it's not just kind of Photoshop. It's supposedly real Photoshop and supposedly going to be really cool. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, it's going to be the kind of Photoshop that brings your iPad to his knees. That's the kind of Photoshop it is. It's going to eat up all your little memory. Yeah, we about to see some iPads crash for the first time because you guys on that layer number 100. The iPad Gen's going to be working hot. People going, it's going to happen. You're going to be burn victims. People's laps are going to be hot. that little worded Cupertino metal that they use for the back of that iPad is going to etch that Apple logo into your skin like it's a bad tattoo on on a night out in Vegas. It's like, just brand me. Yeah, brand me with the Apple toe. Totally, dude. Just do it. Just do it. No, that's what's gonna happen. Can you imagine how hot the iPad's gonna get? There's gonna be a new industry of your lap pads.
Right.
for when you really going lap
in. And iPad burn ointment.
It's gonna be called eye ointment.
It's called I Burn.
I Burn. sounds like an Usher video or something. Sorry.
Back to the singers.
So
supposedly they're coming out with new mobile stuff, and that's the thing that I was actually having, if you guys remember, I don't remember what episode it was, but I was having a conversation with Luis Diaz, who's been on the show before. He's a professional illustrator.
No.
Watch it.
Yo.
If you guys are listening anywhere other than YouTube, you're gonna have to go and read the comments. Noel is on fire today. Burn ointment. So I was talking to Luis and I
got a story about Luis after this.
He was cool. We were talking about I think he was about to get a Wacom Mobile Studio Pro.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
And then he was giving me my opinion on that versus the iPad.
What did he go with?
He ultimately chose the iPad. Because with number one, the iPad is a little bit cheaper, and it's definitely way more mobile. It's a lot lighter. And with something like AstroPad, you can basically, the way I use AstroPad is if I'm not in my office, I have a laptop. What I do is, you don't necessarily need a cable, but I use it because it cuts down on latency. But if you take your iPad, connect it to the laptop,
right,
with a cable, and then you launch AstroPad, it turns your iPad into a Cintiq. So you can use Photoshop and all that stuff, and it knows the pressure sensitivity and all that good stuff. So because of that, that's why he was like, okay, well, we're gonna have to go and move in that direction then. So, all right, cool. Let me know.
So when did you talk to Luis?
Yesterday.
Okay, so this is still too early, too late. I got a call on Saturday afternoon. From a random number that I did not know who it was from. And I realized this individual, he ends up leaving a message. So I listened to the message. And then I'm listening, and the message goes, "Hey, Charlie, it's been a while. This is a new. Luis said you was talking about me on your podcast. What's up, man? How you doing? Give me a call back. Let's chat." Cool. I stop. I sit for about a half an hour. I pull up the podcast. I watch the podcast halfway. Never said a news name last week. The podcast.
Was it last week?
Yeah. He just said last week. So then Anu was watching it and was like, I don't see you saying my name. So I don't know what Luis is talking about. I don't even think we've talked about Anu on this podcast.
We have kind of, but not a lot.
Not enough for you. For you
well, Luis was actually on live like a week or two ago.
I don't know. I didn't get a chance. I meant to call Luis this week. So, and I ended up calling back Anu and reconnecting with him. We talked for like an hour and a half on the phone. And just catching up and stuff like that. He's doing good. But it was just a funny way of like him calling me because he's like, "Charlie, this is new."
You're like, what?
So then I call back, and like Susie answered the phone. I'm like, "Anu, why are you calling my phone?" He starts laughing, and I was like, "What's up, man?" It's literally been years since I've talked to this individual.
Yeah,
like years upon years. I thought you'd get a kick out of that. All based off of, I think Luis did that on purpose. So I called New. And we ended up talking about substance designer, substance painter, and like Anu's been doing 3D.
Yeah.
Yep, been doing 3D in the evening, like getting back into it and stuff like that. He was like, but I can't. I'm not texturing though. Can't do that. I'm like, you a grown ass man. Stop saying you can't do that. Like,
I know.
Get in there and text. And then I showed it to him. He's like, and he was like, what? I was like, yeah, we don't have to do shit from scratch anymore. He's like, what do you mean? You're not. This is not some weird Photoshop. A new. Stop saying Photoshop. That's not even a thing anymore. I was like, let me show you how easy this is. And then you can get in there and like make something cool. Now it's cool, but because you know all the old school stuff, you already know what all the layers are gonna do. You're just gonna get in there and start mixing layers and adding new things. And like, dude, I'm telling you, because he's doing a lot of high poly like stuff. And I was like, all that stuff is gonna look nice.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what he does. Shout out to a new.
I think he's coming. Hopefully, he's coming to visit here in a couple weeks.
Who?
A new.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, cool. That's my guy. Yeah, love that dude.
I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
Yeah, he just to kind of get everyone up to speed with who the hell we're talking about. Luis is an illustrator that went to school with us. He's a really good person to find to listen to because he's very positive minded and he's always reaching out to me, asking me or kind of suggesting speakers to reach out to. He is episode 52. So just to put that into context, that was like 120 episodes ago.
52. Yo. Whoa.
We might have to start asking these folks back. But yeah, Luis is an illustrator, professional illustrator, and episode 52. Go check that one out. It's really good. And then I think he also came back on to episode 72 when we had Luke Flowers on.
Yeah.
But and then Anu also went to school with us. He got into the 3D world and then things dried up. He became a pharmacist and now he's back to being into 3D.
I think he's still doing some pharmacy stuff too, though.
Yeah.
Before. But that was crazy. I was like, man, you went to school again?
He's pretty smart for a dumbass.
Yeah. Like you do the numbers well.
We'll see if he actually listens to the show.
Oh, he's going.
I knew you're pretty smart for a dumbass.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Shots fired. See? It's going to come fired.
Luis
is going to tell him. You know, Luis is going to tell him. Yeah.
All that to say, Adobe has been in the news yet again. What am I doing? I need to be working on something. Yes. Do I work on? No. I actually want to take my time with the Star Wars gangster thing. Or do I play? Either way, I'll figure something out. But Adobe went out. They've been buying up kind of everything. So if you remember a few months ago, they bought up a bunch of business solution software, SaaS, software as a service type of stuff, which what they bought a few months ago would have them competing with say, I don't know who the Salesforce and stuff like that, customer retention software, which kind of helps with the business end of things. But this thing that they just bought today, and I'm going to let Charlie geek out because you guys know how he gets. Charlie, what did Adobe buy today?
So Adobe bought the company called Algorithmic. They bought them whole, bought the whole team. This is the team behind Substance Designer and Substance Painter. You guys should know Designer because we showed that. I showed you guys that last week. Designer has been around for about. They started in early 2000s, built their way up, and they basically have like changed the industry in terms of VFX and film and how you texture in 3D models. They carved out a crazy niche for themselves. No one else really does what they do. No other program does what they do. They have a little bit of competition with Mari, which is a texture painting program that's used in film, but they went to the game market first and they totally revolutionized the way we texture in games. We were using Photoshop for the longest. and doing things by hand and taking photos and manipulating photos and smacking them on the sides of 3D models and stuff like that and doing all this stuff. And then they came along with these programs that changed everything. And it's been amazing. Like I said, I showed you the procedural one last week. It was great. But like any other company, I'm assuming they were probably hitting the ceiling on reach and on development cost and all this other stuff. It's very expensive to do these programs. And the CEO decided to sell the company, and Adobe acquired the whole company. Now the whole team stays the same. The CEO becomes a vice president in Adobe, and he'll be leading up all of Adobe's 3D initiatives. So things like the things we talked about, like Adobe Dimensions, which is basically like a key shop program, or basically like a visual rendering program for graphic designers and stuff like that. So if you need to make a quick, Gatorade bottle spot and stuff like that, and show off this new label you did, you can apply your label to a 3D model really easily, light that 3D model in real time, and then go ahead and render it, and now you have a really cool print. So that's kind of what Adobe Dimensions is, but like Adobe's pushing themselves in 3D. So that means that like they needed someone to lead that initiative other than all the 2D heads that are over there because they weren't doing it right, because all their 3D sucked. Let's just say this again. 3D in Illustrator sucks. 3D in Photoshop right now sucks. It's not good. I don't care how good you know Adobe. It's not. But it's in a direction, right? You can open up an FBX model in Photoshop, but why would you want to? Like the lighting's not going to look good or whatever. So
Right.
they needed another program to like, and people who do this for years and at the forefront and knows about PBR and physical based rendering and lighting and texturing and like procedural texturing and letting AI help you do texturing, all this good stuff. They needed somebody to be able to lead that initiative, and they needed a team to be able to lead it. So I think what they're doing is, while most of the art community is having a hissy shit fit over all this, because like no matter if it's good for algorithmic, and you got money going behind R&D and marketing dollars for substance tool sets now, the realization is like that shit's going into Creative Cloud, could be more expensive in 2 years. Everything's fine. So if you bought something off of Steam right now, and you bought it at a discounted price and you only pay about $20 a month for a substance painter or designer, cool. That might change, but right now everything's going to be the same. But the main thing is to think of is like there's more money being pushed behind these products. And I think if Adobe does it right, they'll keep the whole team just as it is. They just work for Adobe now.
Right.
And they'll just push innovation. Only way they'll mess up is if they start touching them. Don't touch them. You just own them now. Don't come in. Don't touch any of the products.
Don't take like Substance Painter and put it in Photoshop.
Yeah, don't be doing no stuff. We don't need to do any of that. You want to make something innovative? Go make a new product. Tell that CEO, the vice president now, go make a new product. Don't put it in Photoshop.
Right.
You can make it somehow like live link to Photoshop, or being able to bring stuff in, something like that. I'm okay, because that's going to happen. But please keep it like it is right now, because literally the other side to this is I don't know how the PR team has to be working overtime. There's like 40+ page thread on the Substance forums right now of people just going off. Facebook pages, 10,000 hours. Like it's good from a commercial level, but if you talk to the average artist, everybody is like, and everybody keeps saying, even though some people are not even 3D artists, everybody keeps saying, well, it could have been worse. An Autodesk could have bought them. Then we know it would have been gone in a couple of years.
Now that you say that, let me toss this in there real quick. For everyone that likes Sketchbook, they made a quick change to it, I think just this week. It was at the point where it was paid, and then they changed it to free, but now you don't even have to have an Autodesk account I think you could just go and get it and download it.
Oh,
and
Sketchbook.
Sketchbook, yeah.
You know that stuff is still. I just upgraded our Autodesk suite at work and changed them to like annual. We're going to pay for annually now, and it's gonna. We just saved them like a bunch of money. But with that, we get all these tools. In it, it's still Sketchbook. It's still like the Sketchbook thing. It's as one of the tools. So even though it's free, it's weird. I was like, yo, isn't this free? Whatever. Didn't ask questions. It's not my money. I don't care. But this is so I don't know how you feel. I don't know if it's like a small section of the artist community. Because to me, as an artist, it's everybody and their mama saying that they're super upset. But is it not really that big? Because it's a big forum on their actual official forums. It's a big, like, crazy long thread of people just saying, y'all so loud. Da, 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 da. And I see it all over my internet, but maybe it's not.
Yeah.
But to the average artist, that sounds bad. Like, because they're selling this on Steam, which is Steam. If you guys don't know, Steam is a gaming platform. You can buy games and stuff like that. But you can also buy artist tools and stuff like that. So Substance Painter, Substance Designer is really cheap. It's not a lot of money. It's like literally it's really cheap. So anybody can buy it right now. And you get that. And then they were only few companies are still doing perpetual licenses. So you can buy it or then buy the perpetual license and then you have it forever and you don't have to pay a subscription. With everybody going to subscription, you never really own your software. You know? So that's the other crazy part about. But, the flip side to that was like back in late 2000s when everybody when Photoshop was like $5,000. People were cracking it because they felt they're Robin Hood. At least they could say no one can spend $5,000. I'm just trying to be a freelance artist and try to, make my living. And then when they put subscription, they made it a lot more affordable, but at the cost of like you never really own it. Because if you cut off Creative Cloud, you don't have it. So they're scared. So the artist community, the 3D community, I should say the 3D community, 3D game community, visual effects people that use Substance. That's their biggest thing they're scared of. Because in the press release, it said for now, your subscriptions are exactly the same. And then I don't know if you heard of a site called Medium, Carlos. Medium is like a blog posting site. And like every time I see something happen like this, I see some CEO or someone making a post on Medium. So the CEO of Algorithmic, that's where he made his post. And then the CEO of Adobe made his post over on Adobe Blogs, and they both gave crazy insight into like the futures and stuff of it, So that's what. So we already know from the Adobe CEO that it's going to be involved in Creative Cloud. Yeah. What capacity or how that works? If it's a new add-on that you pay for separately or whatever. Hopefully, I think in the Substance forums, they're trying to play cleanup and saying maybe you'll have like it bundled and it'll be like a Photoshop and Substance Painter or something like that. So it'd be super, super affordable. But they said they're really going to try to keep it affordable and all this good stuff. But so it's cool, I guess. You can't really stop it. But that's the big bombshell they dropped on everybody yesterday. And,
see, but people are so anti-change.
True.
I mean, Adobe has made some decisions that you're like, what were you thinking? But at the same time, if you're a smaller company and someone offers you probably a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't know where you can find that. I guess we have to check out Forbes or somewhere else. I'm sure that number's somewhere, right? They have to make that public, right? Or do they have to not have to? With mergers and stuff. I mean, they're not. I guess they're not big enough to be like. It's just more of an acquisition than a merger.
Yeah, no. I'm reading a story on TechCrunch, which would probably have, but I don't see anything right offhand. How much? Oh, and you know what else this is? Like, speaking from an Adobe point of view,
Mm-hmm.
they had this Project Arrow, which is basically AR, augmented reality.
Yeah, it looked interesting. I don't know how good it
Yeah,
is.
that was pretty dope. But they're definitely making this move into 3D and AR. And this just, I mean, speaking from Adobe's point of view, this makes a lot of sense. Depending on how much you'll lose it. Oh no. Depending on how much algorithmic was worth, it makes sense to me that they would sell too, because Adobe doesn't. I mean, they got fat pockets.
Right.
They hit everybody up for $50 a month, so that's a lot of money that they're going to be
Yeah.
dealing with, you know.
Yeah.
And and I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a good day when you go to behance.net/live and they start having more 3D stuff, because they're wearing out the carpet with experience design and stuff like that. They're really pushing that really hard. But it's cool when they do the illustrating in Illustrator or Photoshop and using all the mobile apps and stuff like that. That's really cool. It's just going to be really neat to see not just 2D artwork and design type of stuff, but when they start pumping in this 3D stuff into that whole library of content that
Yeah.
they make,
Sure.
I think that's going to be refreshing for that. But I cannot just bought in big gaming slash gear is saying I can't find it anywhere. Can't find it anywhere. Well, eventually that number will sneak out and we'll all know, because they have to, especially when they do like the market call, not a market call, but when they report on their earnings, their earning call is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
A market call is when they actually make you pay back for some stocks. But when they do an earnings call, then that's where they have to, because they're a publicly traded company.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I can't find anything on that. I'll keep looking. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And maybe Anu will finally get into texturing his models. He sent me a model of a train that he did, which was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you gonna texture that? And he goes, nah, man, I don't texture. I was like, okay. A little rust, nothing.
Nice.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm gonna pull up. So I'm gonna do a new program this week. If I can figure my login. What are you gonna work on?
I'm not sure. I was going to either work on the book or on the fun prompt, but I can't really figure out what I want to do as far as the fun prompt goes. Open up sketchbook, because I've been, the first page of this book that we were working on, the angle is so extreme that I was trying to find out how to get it right. And if you watched last week's show, you'll see me struggling with trying to find the proper angles. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. But one of the cool things Hey, Deborah.
Deborah.
How's it going? Yeah, we are just talking about that right now.
Yes. They swallowed him up and ate him.
What do you think, Deborah? Are we going to be typing little fingers off?
Yeah.
Actually,
Speak
how
on
about
it.
we do this?
Speak on
Because
it, Deborah.
I'm going to be drawing in 2D. If anyone in the chat room wants to come on, let me know, and then we'll figure out how to get you on, and we'll let you guys sound off on your thoughts. Huh, as a matter of fact, I think I found you. Yep, I did. I'm adding you as a friend on Facebook. So if you accept my friend request, don't listen to Noel, but accept my friend request. And if you want to come on and talk about that, that'd be cool. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I was good. I was telling other people in another group chat. I was talking earlier tonight that like it all matters like a year and a half from now when dust settles and stuff like that. But to see how they do, see how they change their model. Because they could in fact just go complete left with it, right? And say that if you want this, it's a new thing you have to buy, right? So that means everybody that has it would feel a little bit better because it's not in Creative Cloud, right? And,
Yeah.
and everybody that doesn't have it, they get money because they have to buy it now, so
Yeah, and that's what
like a standalone program,
that's where it becomes interesting, is this whole membership thing. Because at first I wasn't down for this membership thing. I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, why am I going to pay $50 a month? And then I guess it just turns into another bill. And that's what sucks. Like, here in the States, literally everything is nickel and diming you out of your paychecks. Everything is a membership fee now.
Just gotta build that wall.
Yeah, even that. Like, come on, dude. Yeah, got 5 on it. Adobe is not focused on customers or fixing what is already there, so not good for the future. That's a very solid point. They really do. For example, like, and I know that this is a sore point, you guys are going to tease me, but like when Flash was having its heyday, and then Steve Jobs said, "No, Flash is never going to run on an iOS device." Adobe never stood up and was like, "Hey, pump the brakes, kid," and actually show stuff, right? They kind of did, but they didn't want to piss off Apple. And that's the main reason why, one of the big reasons why Flash just went away was because of Steve Jobs' statement. And then they just kind of gave up on it. And then all of a sudden they started realizing that there's people that still use Flash for animation. And then all of a sudden they're starting to push resources to it. And it's not like they're really focusing on, say, Photoshop or Premiere or anything like that. It just it's just kind of weird. It's just kind of weird to have them have so many offerings, but it's still somewhat buggy.
Yeah.
And this might just be me. You guys in the chat room, let me know. But one of the cool things that they do have is you can use some of the Adobe apps on an iPad, and you can tell the iPad to send that drawing to either Photoshop or Illustrator, and it'll automatically open it in Photoshop or Illustrator.
That's really cool.
But it works like 50% of the time. A lot of times I have to log out of my account, my Adobe account on the iPad and on my desktop, and then log back in and then try to send it over again. Gabriel Williams said, I would say the software could be a tax write-off, but the IRS is not getting paid right now because of the shutdown. Yeah, I mean, that's how I all of my Adobe stuff goes on my taxes. And they'll figure this shutdown thing out. So you'll end up getting your tax benefits. The shutdown won't really ruin any tax write-offs for you. It's the tax laws that they keep adjusting and changing for rich people is what's going to ruin that.
That's funny.
You know how many people have come to me and be like, hey, what do you think about this? You own your own company. What do you think about this tax break? I was like, I didn't get a break. They're like, yeah, me neither. I was like, yeah, so what tax break? If anything, they took a lot of things away. So there's a lot of things that we can't write off. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure in terms of that. And I'm assuming they have to get that back in order because they probably want the government going once tax time comes around. So.
Oh, yeah. That's like, that's going to be, they're already messing with people's paper. And that's when everyone starts losing their mind. Because you can be all cute and, you know, the tax write-off didn't necessarily reach my pockets, but that's all cool. Like, it makes sense for these big corporations to get tax write-offs. Yeah, until you don't get your tax write-offs, and then all of a sudden, you know, people start wanting to get serious and catch feelings and stuff. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. We're definitely in strange, uncharted territory. But the cool thing is, it doesn't even really matter to me. I'm not rich enough to enjoy the benefits, and I'm not poor enough to qualify for help. So
right there in the middle.
Right smack dab in the middle. Yep.
All right, where's this thing? I'm trying to find my login for the program I want to use. I'm not finding it.
My 3D vanishing points are completely busted now. Great. Where we at? Right there. All right.
So what else is new with you this week, Charles? Did you get any other new content out for your channels?
I actually just finished editing a video that you guys will be able to enjoy. I'm trying to figure out. I want to have a regular release schedule, but like when a video is done, I want to be able to. Hang on, the dog is in here. She's trying to get out. Hang on. Okay. So I want to get to the point where I'm releasing something at least every Monday.
Right.
But like when something is done, I'm kind of ready to release it and mark it off and then just call it done. So I don't know. I'm torn. I'm torn.
Okay, where?
But this one is all about starting your own podcast, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I've been asked a whole bunch of times lately, I want to start my own podcast. Like, what do I need? And then you have a long conversation and then they're like, I don't get it. Or they call a little bit more and now they got something done and they're excited about it, which is cool. But then they always need like the next step. What's my next step? I'm like, I don't know. Like, reach out to people, see if they want to be on your show. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I just I put together everything that you need to go from the very beginning of not having anything all the way to publishing something on iTunes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yep.
How long did it take you?
That one took me, I started it today and I just finished. I started it like just before lunch and I finished it tonight, like right before we went live. So yeah, so far so good. So yeah, if you guys are watching live and you want a true break from Adobe, and you want to take a look at more produced content, go to coconutjustice.com and that'll bounce you to my other channel. Okay, I'm just not feeling this drawing right now. So we're gonna quit. Wow. Don't save. What I got to do is start from scratch and actually mark where the points are so I know that I'm not wasting.
There it is. I was just in the wrong email. I was in the wrong email this whole time. Now I can. So some programs I use are cool, but sometimes like programmers get in the way, right? So in 2019, I shouldn't have to like redo the whole reset your email because you chose to give me some programmer password and won't let me put my own password in there. I hate that. I hate those. You put the one on for our Gmail. Like I hate them. Like, because I'm sitting there like,
you got to get a password. You got to get a password manager thing. Like one password.
I use the built-in one for Google, but like if I don't have it. Oh, so 1Password is like you come up with a name and use that for everything?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I kind of like that idea. Yeah, I should do that. All right, cool. Now I can actually show this. Sweet. Log me in before I call you out your name. Access granted. Thank you. Meanwhile, I'm trying to install this for. All right. So let's go ahead and share screen.
Deborah's asking, hey, Charlie, what do you use on a daily basis for your 3D work?
Hey, Deborah.
Hey, Deborah.
Hey, Deborah. Sorry, I'm stupid today. So what do I use on a daily basis for my 3D work? Well, I'm glad you asked, Deborah. I use a bunch of different things, but let's go down bread and butter, right? So let's start with DCC program. Obviously, DCC program means my animation / modeling program, right? There's a couple of them in the industry. Ones that do everything, right? But usually studios build their pipeline off of these things. So very first program I learned was from Autodesk 3D Studio Max. And at almost all the studios I've been at, I've used that except one. It's really good for modeling. Lighting is really good now. They have Arnold third-party render built in, so that's really good. But that's usually my like go-to base foundation one. And over the years, I've had to learn other programs at other studios based off of them using a different program, right? Luckily at Next Now, their base for the 3D department is 3D Studio Max, so I use that every day. We also have Maya that I learned when I was working at EA. So that was the second 3D program that I learned in a professional setting. And then the third one that we have at Next Now is Cinema 4D. So Cinema 4D is the base 3D program, like for motion graphic artists, So for a film artist, a base program, a lot of times that you would learn for base would be Maya, because Maya is really adaptable in a VFX pipeline. The Maya that you use at home or at school, it's not the Maya you'd be using that Jack would have y'all used the Digital Domain or DreamWorks TV, or my other buddy Danny Williams would use over when he was at DreamWorks, or so it's able to like turn into whatever you need to be. But Maya is another good base one. Maya's strength is animation. Animation has a really good modeler also, and visual effects. So Maya's built-in Bifrost engine for water simulation is excellent. Maya's got an excellent hair and fur shader. 3D Studio Max has a good one in there too, but 3D Studio Max is background more so. It's the entertainment version program for like AutoCAD. So a lot of times, like game studios will use 3D Studio Max more. But also studios like me, they use a lot of VR, a lot of AR. We get a lot of like CAD models in, even though we don't use CAD. We get a lot of those models as our base models, since 3D Studio Max can read those because it has all the same functionality in terms of like what file formats it reads. That's kind of a cool reason why we use those too. You can do those in Maya, but Max just has more in its tool set in terms of reading these different programs, these different file formats. So I use those. So that's kind of why I like to still use Max a lot. And I love the modeler in Max still. There's the close second would be Blender. Blender would be my third one. So my main program I know the best is 3D Studio Max. I've learned Cinema 4D now, so I've been in that way more because it just really lends really good self to motion graphics and design and all that good stuff and rendering and stuff. So I've been doing that. And then Blender is my third one that I've been using more so in my spare time. And their update to 2.8 puts it on the same scale as those other programs I mentioned, because the interface works now, the hotkeys work now really good. And even if you've been using Blender for years, you're relearning Blender right now. And this has happened in the last 2 or 3 months. So those are my main modeling programs. For texturing, I use Substance Painter exclusively. And for shaders and procedural textures and stuff, I use Substance Designer, and also another program called Bitmap to Material. So that covers that. Lighting and all that good stuff, and rendering, Redshift. I love Redshift right now in Arnold. So that's when I want to do those. And those are third-party renders that are agnostic to the modeling program that you use. So you can, if you know Maya, so if you're out there and like, well, I don't use Max. Well, you don't have to use Max for Redshift or Arnold. You can use Maya, you can use Blender. You can use Blender for both of those, or you can use any other program you can use. So that's kind of cool. If you want to get into rendering and stuff like that, and the default one is just not where you want it to be, you want to start to use more of the industry stuff, you can add one of those renderers. I like it because it's GPU based. So GPU based means it's based off your video card. So that's really cool. So if you have your rig at home, you put like one other video card in your computer, then now you have double the rendering power. So it's really nice. So when you're trying to render that crazy scene with reflections and stuff like that, it uses your 2 video cards, and rather than like killing your CPU if you don't have a good CPU. So that's kind of cool. So that's kind of like the main ones I use. mainly, you know.
She said it's great. Maya's really replacing 3D Max at this point now.
No, it depends. I would people say that all the time, and I get my other buddies in the industry to tease it all the time, but I would say no. Um, it just depends on the studio that you're at. If you're at a big budget film house, then yeah, Maya's being used because their animation stuff and VFX stuff is bar none. 3D Studio Max is really big in architectural rendering and ArchViz. Is really big in AR and VR. If you think about it, like if you think of talking about game engines, that's the only thing they use on a daily basis, like Unreal and Unity. Some on Let's talk about Unreal real quick. Unreal has built their program to like rival like any other game engine, right? It's the cream of the cream. It's even better than Unity. And we're a Unity studio, but it's better than Unity. I learned Unreal first because Unreal's been able to diversify its portfolio in a way where like it's not just a game engine. So you can use it for VR, right? Architectural rendering companies can use it to show stuff in VR or AR, right? If you go right now, Unreal won an Emmy, Carlos, if you didn't notice either. They won an Emmy. If you look up Unreal wins Emmy, I think it's on Unreal's blog for the Weather Channel. How many of you guys have looked at the Weather Channel lately and seen all the crazy stuff they do? And they've like revolutionized, because I don't know why we haven't thought about this before 2019 or 2018, where people standing in front of green screens talking about the weather. And we never no one ever thought to like make that stuff look better. Well, a lot of times Unreal has turned its tool set into what's called Unreal. What is it called? It's not Datasmith, but basically there's a version of Unreal that a lot of the broadcast community, a lot of the AR and VR community is using in terms of like making virtual sets. So ESPN's using it, Weather Channel's using it, and basically since it's real time, they can hook the Unreal Engine up into the pipeline of like those production studios and basically replace the set. So the actors are still standing in front of a green screen, but now they put a whole set there instead of just putting a billboard that shows the weather or a picture of the map. So now you're in this cool ESPN looking set that's really not there. And when the weather person's talking about the weather and talking about storm surges and talking about stuff like that, they physically show it in a way that like looks realistic. So and since it's Unreal, it's physical based rendering. So a messed up car or water looks like photorealistic water. And I will say, I'll look for it for you guys. But the article that I was reading, it's pretty good, Carlos. If you've seen any of those segments, like that they've been doing, like the other day, or the last thing they did that got everybody all crazy was they showed what happens when a tornado hits. And they made the tornado hit the studio, and they went as far as went to color bars, and they went straight to commercial. Like didn't tell them they were gonna do that, and they just did it. And everybody's like, and then everybody blew up on Twitter and everywhere else live, like, whoa, what's going on with the Weather Channel? You know, because it looks so real.
Hilarious.
So I guess they won an Emmy, the company, Epic, for all the new innovative work that been doing in virtual sets. So a lot of times people sitting on those sets, only thing's real is the desk.
Yeah.
You know, like if you know IKEA, if you've been to IKEA lately and you get the catalog, none of that stuff in the catalog is real photos. It's all 3D rendered stuff. So this is kind of one of the reasons why we go back to Adobe and other companies like that are swallowing these companies like Substance Designer and Substance Painter and Algorithmic up, because they understand that like 3D is like the next wave. In order for them to position themselves as a leader, they need to have people that know how to make it instead of trying to hire up people that can do it.
Long arm said fake weather news.
Yeah, it's cool though. I love the way the weather is now though, dude. Like they still gonna get it wrong, but they don't scare me in the process, because the biggest thing they were talking about was like the initial reactions people had about storm surges and getting those people to leave those areas on a serious note more than what they would, because you physically saw what those levels meant. Like, and since it was realistic, it was like, yo, most of you guys before, they were saying statistically, people didn't evacuate when we were at this level. Look where this level really was at. And that's why they had to go and rescue so many people, because that level is already higher than your front door. So you should have left like a day and a half ago. So when you can start to visually see it, it's really cool. So that's one of the things that like Unreal's doing, and everybody's moving towards cinematic content and stuff like that. So those things are really cool. But long story short, with all that stuff,
yeah, and I think with Alonzo, I'm trying to find the comment, but Alonzo said that there are cartoon shows rendered out of Unreal.
Yeah, I just finished a project at work based on this, and I've been jumping on this like for the last 3 years before, and then they start, because I saw those early on 3 or 4 years ago, where like I love in terms of AR and VR and all that good stuff with game engines. More than making a game, I don't really care about making a game anymore. I more so care about doing cinematic content in real time. I don't want to render for anything. I don't want to render anything. I want to be able to light something that looks photorealistic in the viewport in real time and be like, look, guys, see, look, it looks great. Take a screen capture, in engine, and boom, go straight to your portfolio. Done. No rendering needed. So yeah, Safari is another good one. And I have a couple other ones since then. Since Safari is like the founding father, but there's a couple other ones now that are even better. And it's totally like companies are doing full shows in the Unreal Engine. We just did a spot at work for a dairy museum that I won't say yet because I don't know if it's announced yet, in Indiana, and we did a full 3D rendering projection on walls. Basically, if you come into the like section in the museum, like they have real trees or the fake looking trees and stuff, Carlos, all in there, but on the back wall it's a curved wall. We rendered a full like forest scene where like animals are talking about the farm and how it's sustainable and all this other crazy stuff, and it goes and the video loops and it's projected. It's not like on LEDs or anything, so it's projected on the wall, so it looks really cool. And then it goes through a life cycle of like, it goes from like nighttime, all twinkle stars and stuff. It looks really cool, and then it slowly fades up to the morning time, and then the animals start to come out. So like it's a looping experience when you walk up to it, where it's dark, and then it goes from like night to like noon or something, and then they start talking. But everything was animated, was brought in from like Maya and other places, and Max, and animated in different programs, and we just used Unreal as a render engine. Basically, all the grass and most of the environments are all done in real time, and then through the cinematic tool in Unreal, we were able to just export those out as frames, as EXRs, as frames, as image sequences, and then we re-put it all together. We have like the animals speaking in different channels, so there's like 6 speakers. We got like this fish that's projected on a flat surface, so it looks like he's like swimming in the pond right next to it. All of these projectors, we have everything masked out in the projector, so the leaves and all that stuff masked, so there's no shadows on the walls or anything like that. It looks cool, all done in Unreal. You know how long it would took me to render? Like if I had to send it to a render farm?
I don't even.
No, thank you.
When I was in 3D, or either at school or for that video game company, even for other companies that I did 3D for.
Alonzo, yeah, it's not out yet. So once it gets out, then I'll share the video here. And if I have to go down there myself, because it's only about an hour and a half from me here, I'll go myself and shoot some video. Because one of the hardest things at experiential place is that we always working on a bunch of different projects, but like getting that video, the biggest thing in my industry for experiential is the what's called the case study video that you do at the end. And that's the one thing that we have that it's always a struggle to get, is going back to the space when it's all said and done and making that really hot looking video with a steady cam and stuff like that. And then that's how you get awards at companies like I work at. Because everybody's doing a case study, Nike, whoever, who got the most, throughput based off of the cool experiences they had, and how many people did you get emails or signups, or how many people did you get through this experience, and how big of an impact did that experience have. So yeah, I'll talk about that museum more, about where it is once it's fully live. I think we're finishing up on it. We did about 4 or 5 different experiences ranging from different like games and like trivia games and a bunch of different things. That's what I was talking about, where I did a lot of green screen work for this other section where they recreated a house and all this other stuff, and we have people on 90-inch screens talking to you and all this other stuff. And
that's crazy.
I did photorealistic backgrounds of like, showing the life of like on a farm and all this stuff. And I won't even use the title so that way I don't give anything away, but I'm skirting around a bunch of stuff without saying anything. But yeah, it should be really cool. So like that's just an example of kind of work I do. It's like it was a bunch of experiences for a museum and stuff like that. And like these are canned experiences. The other one was like a lot of 2D stuff. Carlos would like the we have a game that we made that shows you how they use everything on a farm and turn like basically poop into fuel. It's kind of crazy. Like everything,
nice.
like the whole farm is driven. It's like totally sustainable. Like, so there's so many poop jokes. It was like, it got funny after a while. It got tiring. Like we're like, yeah. You said it. It's the shit. Yeah, we know. Great. But like it was cool. So, and that was all 2D, Carl. So we had to draw a bunch of like, characters and draw a bunch of bacteria, like all like Illustrator type illustrations that then were animated via After Effects, and for that one, and then those are using big huge touch screens and stuff like that we're doing. So it can vary a lot, so it's really cool. What else?
Real quick, I forgot who was asking. Oh, Long Arm. I just set up a Discord channel for Sketch Zone. So if you guys want to jump in there, that's a new thing, new announcement. Discord, Sketch Zone podcast. Look for us. We're Sketch Zone.
That's how you could. Also, we can keep working on that over the next month or so. But it could be a way to unify the chats on both.
Yeah,
because everybody can just go there.
Yeah,
and we can still read the chat. Wow, same
too.
thing. But you guys could actually talk in there too. Be voice chatting there too if you wanted to.
Yeah,
the show was going.
Yeah.
And then there's different things where there'll be notifications in Discord of like, hey, we just went live, and stuff like that. It's cool. Discord's really good. It's a really good thing. I like it. I have like 50 different servers of chat places I go, and some of our there's artist ones in there too. So those of you guys are looking for artists and stuff like that, and different other communities. There's communities everywhere to get better and like find like-minded people. It's the cool thing about the internet nowadays. What else? Deborah, did that answer your question? Do you have a specific question on like software? Or is that good? Is this done yet? Yes, it's done. All right. While we're looking for more questions, I'm using a program today called World Creator. Makes me sound like God, right? Yes. World Creator is a terrain software that allows you to make different types of terrain, large and small scale. And I don't know why my arc rotate's not working today, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, cool. So you can do different terrain and everything. And going along with what I was doing last week, I have this idea of making this epic cinematic scene still picture. And I'm basing it on like a bunch of still pictures from movies I've seen and stuff like that. And I think it's going to be sci-fi based, some kind of planet or something. But I need terrain, right? I need good looking terrain. And then that texture that I was working on last week, the procedural texture I was working on last week in Substance Designer, that can be tellable. So you can do all those different like cool like procedural masks and stuff like that to create a really cool, unique shape, unique texture set, that adds variation. Because obviously you'll get variation with this program. Look at that. That's really low res, no matter how high res. That's 2048 by 2048. And things are set up in here in tiles. So if you think of this, if this is a square, this is a square, this is a square, set up like that.
Are you trying to share your screen?
You don't see it?
No.
Oh, how did it shut off? Oh, that sucks. No. I'll do it again. I'm upset. I was sharing. Is it sharing now?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry. This is World Creator. Yeah, now you guys see it.
There you go.
But why is this not? I should be able to arc rotate. I'm having trouble rotating. There it is. Oh, because it's like a game engine. WSD, you fly around. Oh, you cheeky program you. Okay, got you. There we go. All right. Now it's a camera. It's not a viewport. Got you. So you start off with this terrain. And I can go in here and I can change the levels, right? Totally different terrain now, right? And I can figure out almost like a director of photography would do when they would go on location. I don't know why that's snapping. Let's go full screen. Maybe that'll help. Yeah, that just snaps in. Wow, that's stupid. And I can try to figure out how I want to do this, and how I want to set this up. Do I want to make myself in a valley and then put myself all around it? And eventually you build this up in sections, right? So think of like a world with no trees or nothing like that. So if I wanted this to be a dense forest or whatever, this will be what it looks like if we just tore everything down and there's nothing there but dirt, So I want to go through. I was looking at movies like okay. You're gonna go in Charlie's head again and help me figure out what movie I'm talking about. I'm going to describe an average looking white guy again. Shout out to all my average looking white guys. But dark hair, very famous, little crazy, does the stunts. Sci-fi movie.
Sci-fi.
He was wearing white, really cool looking, flying around in some cool ship. Oh, god damn. Mission Impossible, dude.
Tom Cruise.
So Tom Cruise. Why couldn't I think of that name? Wow. Tom Cruise.
John
sci-fi movie. By himself most of the time.
Elysium or
not that was Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Sorry, we don't have more time to speak to you. Not that one.
Or he's by himself most of the time.
Not Minority Report, but all the 3D and all the tech and all the visual effects were top notch. Like
we can go
holograms for consoles. Remember, he was stuck in a really cool looking loft, but it was on a planet that was
they redid Tom Cruise's website.
What is it?
You guys don't get to see my face anymore.
Probably found it. That's why you
Fallout, filmography. There's Mission Impossible, Fallout, American Made, The Mummy, Jack Reacher.
No, or Odor.
Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, Edge of Tomorrow.
Nope.
Oblivion.
Let's go. Okay. Let's go to the tapes.
Oh, Deborah said that forever ago. Sorry, Deborah.
Deborah is good at what she does. Oblivion. So think of it as like a frame from Oblivion. I want to make my images not look like that, but look like something like that. Oh, so because I went to school for media arts and animation. Carlos knows this. So I have affinity for movie stuff. So I've kind of the game thing is kind of played out to me. But even though you can make really cool looking stuff, I could do this in Unreal and then use the leverage of all that lighting stuff and make a cinematic looking frame. That could be cool. You look at it thinking it was rendered somewhere else, but it wasn't. That could be another thing too. But I think then you could do all the things you build the environment, modeling all the texture and modeling all the stuff minimalistically, right? And then render it out in passes and then do all the color correction. And then you have a nice, cool thing in the end, and then rinse and repeat and do it again. But then it'd be a different subject matter. Maybe be in the style of Blade Runner or something like that, or something more obscure like Little Shop of Horrors frame. Remember that movie? I love that movie. I haven't watched that movie. So maybe I could frame from that. Because have you ever seen that? Some people do that, especially and usually these are people that want to be directors. They'll study frames of movies And I think I was watching a podcast somewhere else where they were doing that. Right click just zooms in like crazy. Why does it do that? Anyway, I think so, something like that. So I'm taking a note from a podcast I heard and flipping it and just doing it in 3D. And then doing all the compositing stuff that I know and stuff like that. So then maybe the background or the sky map might be matte painting. So that kind of ties the whole thing together and makes it more of a doable thing. But you have your base filters, you have a bunch of stuff. I can add objects and trees, I can add ocean, water, show the ocean playing. Look at this. Oh, can we bring it up? Can you bring it up in here? So then you can do these for like visual test. Where is that here? Add some stuff for scattering. Water drops. Intensity, scattering. And then if I can just move this down, I can remember how to rotate my thing down. They just did an update to this, so some of the tool sets are a little different. I have to find my thing because there is water here now. I just have to rotate it down so you can see it. But it's cool. And then I can change. So if
Are you still showing your desktop?
Did it turn off? Why does it keep turning off? That's a new thing. It keeps turning off.
Damn it.
Hangout dying on us. Like, you know what I was doing? I was doing the application window.
Yeah.
So I'd share the application window. It's showing up right now, right? And then I don't know what's triggering. Is it full screen? Is it still there?
Yep, still there.
So I don't know what's triggering it, like dying on me. But it doesn't sound as cool if you don't see what I'm saying.
It doesn't look as cool, at least.
Huh. Well, let me know if it goes away again.
Okay.
Inserting, yes. So let's turn the water off. Let's get down to this. Bye-bye. We'll see you later. There's usually like, I wonder. There's usually like a really nice, like starter one. Yes. No. Okay. And then middle mouse rotates good. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's why.
What'd you do?
It's like, it's snapping really weird to usually it's called arc rotated. So in 3D Pro, usually you're able to like rotate around your object. But right now, when I right click, it snaps in. So that now it's working. But as soon as it goes over, so I just got to be out here in order to rotate. That's weird. I pull out really far. Does that work? How? Oh, that's weird. It's hampering things. So it's like snapping. Let's see here. Interface. Yeah. So there's another program that does the same thing called World Machine, but it looks like literally like you're in an 80s movie when you use that thing. It's node based, but it just looks older. This one has a nicer interface. You can do a lot more stuff with it. But let's try to get something going here. Let's do 4K 4096. 4096. The higher resolution you go of your terrain, and terrain is always done in tiles or squares. So like it's built up a bunch of squares at 4096. So even when I do that, the detail starts to get higher. You probably could do this at 8K if I wanted to. And right now it's basically 1 meter blocks. I can go farther than that and do and do more, but 1 meter should be good. So then you can do like how deep it is. So you can have like soil depth. Does it have soil? You know, and that all affects like how you build it. So if you building craters in it and all these other good stuff, so that's kind of cool. So you can make it really thick or thin. We'll go,
Oh, those are the different layers of the
yeah, of the
terrain.
soil, right? Soil depth, right? So there you can do a custom shape too. But we're not gonna do it. But and then you can go in there and edit the shape, right? So now I like doing this too because you have your different types of selection tools. Maybe you have your squares, circles, and then kind of more like a brush, and then you can move it up. You do an average, you do a flatten, and then go here. And I want to flatten some of these things out like that. See? So now I can start to sculpt the terrain. So if I want to do this crazy, like, Oblivion type deal, we got to figure out where my scene's going to be. So just similar to like a director of photography, I'm going to build the perfect location. So sometimes I want to flatten most of these things out. And sometimes I want to flatten all of them out and then start back up.
Long Arm wants to know if you've heard of one pixel brush.
One pixel brush. No, I have not heard of one pixel brush.
Or is that
3D or 2D?
yeah, is that for me or is that for Charlie?
That sounds like a 2D thing.
Yeah. I'm
Like
in
like
Photoshop,
you do
so
pixel
whatever.
art, like pixel art or something.
One
pixel brush. This is starting to be cool. And like really, like the cool thing about it, like when you making stuff, people are like, "Oh, has to be this big, huge thing." It doesn't, because just like a movie set, if you were to go to watch the Avengers or the new one or Black Panther or whatever, all those people are basically playing house in front of a green screen. So like, and then they add stuff in later. So it's the same deal. Like,
Oh, it's a matte painting company.
oh, it's a company.
Hmm.
Nice. I got into matte painting a couple years ago and like fell in love with it. That's one of those like crazy cool jobs too that'd be cool to have because it's going all 3D now. It's not 2D anymore. I used to be like I can't do it because I'm not that good of a
Ooh, here we
painter.
go.
But yeah, it's really nice. I want to look into that.
We're gonna take a look at them. It's gonna be
Take a
like
look.
our artist inspiration.
Yeah. So I'm just so yeah, you can just build. So what I was saying before, you can just build the perfect location. And I'm trying to just think of like, all right, if I was flying around here, pull this up. Come on, come up, come up, come up. A little higher, a little higher. So now we're more at eye level. We can kind of like figure out where we want to go here. I was moving this guy down, but maybe I want to because I'm thinking maybe I want greenery on this. Maybe I don't want it to be like Mars. Maybe I want it to be more of a thick forest. I think scenes look a little bit more realistic with that. There's this other plugin for C4D that I might want to use for this one called Forester. You guys have all heard of like Speed Tree and stuff like that. That's basically ways of making trees and stuff like that from scratch. This Forester does the same thing. So say I have a terrain that I've been building here in World Creator, I can use Forester and then scatter my trees all along this train. So I kind of go here and like
These guys are bananas.
the one pixel brush.
Yeah.
I think I might have heard of them.
Look at that.
Let me go back. Let me check. I'm full screen. Hold on. Let's see here. Check it out. Let's see. Exactly. Yeah. Who said this? Who sent this?
Long Arm.
Yeah, Long Arm. So now you're starting to see what I'm on right now. Because if you go on my ArtStation, I have one scene that kind of similarly looks like this. artstation.com/CharlieBW3. And that one's there. It's the same type of deal. Like where like it's a mix of 3D, and now it's a mix of 3D and like 2D, and that's what all the concept artists are doing now. So if you're going into concept art, you have to have affinity for painting, but at the same time, you have to know 3D. Like you have to know programs like World Machine here, because there is no perfect photo. Like, and what was happening that like some students would get into when they want to do matte painting and be concepts, the photo bashing thing is a thing in film that they use because it saves time. But at the same time, you still need to know, painting techniques and all those other things, because you can get, what if you don't have that perfect photo to start from? And your lead needs that that concept. So one of those things you can do now is stuff like this, where they can use 3D and they can use 2D. Yes, I have seen that. I have seen this before. I think I've seen, if you go up to that sci-fi scene, there's a breakdown of that sci-fi scene somewhere. Carlos, you just passed it. There's a breakdown of that scene and it's really cool. That one right there. It either was on, I think they were on Art Cafe. Yeah. What is that scene called? Because I might want to reverse engineer, because that's the kind of thing
that
I'm doing. Huh?
Adrift?
Adrift. Yeah, let me look that up real quick, because that's the kind of thing, like these like single shot scenes that are basically got a mixture of 3D, 2D, matte painting all in one. I'm trying to do a couple of those scenes because that can show your full ability as a modeler. But the key here is with me is I can model all this stuff. I don't have to kit bash it, So that'd be that's the biggest asset as being a generalist, and not just like, a good motion artist could do this or a concept artist could do this, but there's companies and places like kit bash 3D and stuff like that. They can do these things. But my whole thing to leverage my stuff for portfolios is to like say, no, I can model this stuff too, and I can do all this other stuff. So I want to make scenes like this. Yeah, that's basically what I'm going for.
Crazy.
For Matt, it's a hybrid, because that's what they're doing in film anyway. It's a mixture of the two.
Right.
Yeah, man, it's good. And then I do like a good photo bash too, in Photoshop too. But couple that with some 3D stuff that you've done, it's fun. It's a fun time. It's a good time.
It's insane.
Yeah. So I just need this to plateau. So let's do an average.
This big ass mech thing is playing soccer.
Yeah. So this one pixel brush, I believe he was on Art Cafe. I think it's the art director. Yeah. And like this guy, I think he actually manages most of the teams now. He used to work at Naughty Dog, and then he moved, and this is his other company.
This is insane.
Or this is his portfolio. This is either one guy or a company. I think this is a company, and they outsource. So what they do is they do concepts and matte paintings and all that stuff for games and film. That's what it was.
Nice.
Which is a good place to be in. It's the best of both worlds. It's like being that's why one of my favorite companies still, and one of my dream companies, even over like
Planetside 2. Oh, snap.
I won't say that. I was gonna say something stupid. I don't know. Maybe it would be my dream company over like a Disney or whatever. Probably would, because it's the best of both worlds. It's like Blur. So Blur Studios, it has the best of both worlds, right? You could work on game content, but the game content you're working on is cinematic for the game. It shows on TV or whatever. Think of like Halos, the Halos they've done and stuff like that.
Here you go, Chuck.
Yeah, there it is. See, I'm on the internet way too much.
Yeah, you are.
I thought I didn't know this thing. Look, I found the breakdown for you. I knew there was a breakdown. Deborah and Longarm. Look at that breakdown. I'm assuming both you guys are 3D artists.
I remember Deborah. I think.
Why is that name familiar? Deborah, where we know you from?
She found us through. She's been here live before. She found us because of Will Terry.
That's what it was. No, wait. You sure? Wait, you sure it was Will Terry?
Yeah.
Ooh, what episode is that though? Ooh, she's been here a while.
Like 15 or 16. Yeah, no.
Shadi. Yes, Shadi. Yes, that's his name. Safadi. Safadi. Shadi Safadi. Hey. That's who he is. Okay, so there's an episode of Art Cafe. Wow. I'm geeking out right now a little bit. I like you too. There's an episode of Art Cafe, Carlos, that you can watch that like they talk about some of the same topics we've talked about on the show, but I like both of them because the other guy's name is not Vitali. The other guy's name is he worked with Ash Thorpe. So now you know where I'm going with this. He worked with Ash Thorpe, and he's boys with Ash Thorpe, and his name he worked on Blade Runner, and him and Ash did all the cool posters for Blade Runner. He worked on Ghost in the Shell. His name is
Steve.
Come on, what's his name? You know this too, Carlos. We talked about him before because of the podcast stuff. Art Cafe. I gotta go find him. Hold on. It's on YouTube. Art Cafe. If you haven't watched it, go watch that too. That's another good program of our YouTube brethren. But he hasn't posted stuff lately.
No.
That gets hard to do because he.
Yeah, you know what I found with Long Arm said Meeple.
No, not Meeple. Beeple is a motion graphics guy. This guy is a concept artist.
Grayscale Gorilla.
Grayscale Gorillas, Nick Cannon, all them guys. We like those guys. No, he's the guy who run Mache. His name is Mache Kukar or whatever. Here, I'll put it in chat. He probably won't let me put it in chat, will he?
Oh, Deborah's in Israel. Okay.
That's what it was. Okay.
We brag about you all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I write his name. Look this person up. You guys will like him. It's Mache. He's an amazing concept artist. Every bit of an artist has unapologetic with his views. Cool guy though. I like him. I follow him a lot, and he learned all this 3D stuff, but he is legit. When he started, was just like perspective and started painting up stuff, and then now he uses he actually was the one who's very influential into getting Ash Thorpe, whose bread and butter was like UI design and all that good stuff for like all those different. And that's the other cool thing about Ash Thorpe was like you got a guy that was like, you know, came up through the motion graphics kind of industry, worked at all these cool places like not SciOut, but like I can't remember the one. I'm not gonna butcher, but places like that, and then got into UI design, knew After Effects really well, did all this stuff, worked on all these different cool, like did all the cool UI stuff for like Ender's Game and like Tron and like all this other stuff. But like, you know, like motion graphic artists and stuff like that, and people that use like After Effects and stuff like that, is heavily 2D still, but it looks 3D based on doing different tricks and stuff in After Effects, and you can bring in and use 3D models or use different things. You got Andrew Kramer and all those guys in that world of like being able to help you bridge the gap between 2D and 3D using After Effects. But then like he met Mache, and I saw a change because Ash Thorpe does a podcast also called The Collective podcast where he just interviews a bunch of people, and he started seeing this process of like introducing all these new programs, you know, learning what ZBrush is, learning what all these other like modeling programs that we didn't even talk about tonight that are more suited for the product design world. Like I got into Fusion 360 for a while, which I still like because it doesn't use polygons. You know, one of the reasons why like you need a good computer for what we do is because we work in polygons, and polygons are very intensive on a computer. And it's so if you got a million poly model, or if I'm working with a huge photorealistic Nissan model for work or something like that, it can bring my computer to its knees. Whereas like, you know, some of the programs like Fusion 360 that's made for like machining and CNC machines and all that good stuff and product design, those models aren't in polygons anymore. So like, it's kind of crazy, Carlos, if you ever use one. Like it's really nice because like you can like build a shape and then start cutting into another shape and start doing all this other stuff, and it's like a perfect cut. You don't have to worry about it like not like how nightmare booleans and stuff are.
Yeah.
Those are programs mathematically is not really a polygon. That's why sometimes like you got to do all these cleanup when you get these CAD models, because when you export them and convert them, things could go wrong and things look a little different. But concept artists have been using these programs like Fusion 360, Moi, another program called Moi, for concept, right? So they'll make all these intricate mechs and all these other cool things because they're not really having to worry about edge loops and bevels. They can just put a crease there when they want to put a crease there. They can just punch a hole in there when they want to punch a hole in, and they don't have to worry about it being clean topology, right? And they can just export those models at a high res and then just render them out real quick and then start painting over them. That's what people like Vitaly Bogorov does, and like Mache and all these other crazy people. Like Vitaly, if you look up that concept artist, it's one of the best concept artists out there when it comes to like hard surface robotics, mechs. His website is like, you would think it's like one of those, like, remember when everybody was watching the Robo Dog, that they're working on, that looked really crazy and freaky on the internet? Like it's like I don't know if it was MIT or somewhere, they have this like robotic looking dog that looks something straight out of like Metal Gear Solid, and it's like can go up stairs and all this other stuff. It basically looks like a box with legs, but the way it walks, it looks like it walks for real. So it looks like something out of a Terminator movie. Like Vitaly's, that's like Vitaly's style of like all his stuff almost could be like functional. It's like that high level of concept art, and like that's the guys that get picked by the big movies like Blade Runner and like all these other movies like that, because like their like concepts are like functional. So then somebody like me who would get that model, okay, now you just got to make it work. So we do the hard part. But now the concept artists are blurring the line of what is a concept artist, and really he's like a 3D generalist. So a person like Vitaly or Mache, are they really concept artists, or are they like 3D generalists at this point? They have like affinity they can draw, right? Like like are they like a Jackson Lau, or are they like a like a RJ, or like a Morris? Like we used to meet like those guys that can do 3D and draw. And these other guys I just thought on top of the head I used to go to school with. That's like what those dudes are now, and like people that just draw. Remember those guys that like you can really draw really well. I had people, male and female, can draw really well. And I was like, you guys would be really good in 3D. You should just start doing some stuff in 3D. And they shunned away from it because they thought, oh, well, I just draw. I don't do 3D. And now, if you're in that field as an illustrator, the time frames are so quick. There's no time to do a full photo bash, even using photos in Photoshop, paint it all up, use photos, and that's it. You have to use 3D because remember, you were just working on something earlier today, Carlos, where you just trying to get the perspective right.
Oh yeah,
that's the main thing that they work at, because the director will have a vision in their head of like, I need it at this perspective, I need it just like this. And like even these badass like concept artists are finding that like blocking it out with boxes and all this other stuff in 3D first. I can show you so many different like time lapses of people where it's just a box first, and then all of a sudden it's this amazing like Middle Eastern city. It's crazy. It's a crazy time we live in terms of like how much 3D is being integrated. And I think that's been the whole notion of this whole show, right? Like how companies and artists are preparing for the new age of art and how 3D informs all that, even if it's like illustration. Like look at Spider-Verse. That's the perfect blending of like I was talking to Danny Williams the other week, and he broke down, there's a if you look at, and I'm gonna do this for you guys, I'll shut up. I'm gonna share my screen again, but I'm gonna pull up on Twitter, some of the artists from the movie were posting their progress, and Danny, like that's what I know when people are really good, like character artists like Danny, like go look up to, like this dude notices things about the production model of, since that's what he used to do at DreamWorks, like of what they did for Spider-Verse. Like they modeled the actual model asymmetrical on purpose. Isn't that crazy when you see you just got it just when I said it, right? And you totally understand why they did that, right?
Yeah.
As an illustrator, you know why they did it. They took the model like that and it's asymmetrical. It's the Prowler model. It's like his uncle. I'm gonna look it up for you real quick. Prowler. And then I'll add it. It was on Spider-Verse. And so like the stuff they're doing now, and then that's a total mix of like they have like 2D like illustrations as the textures of the 3D models. And then when you see what the 3D model look like, it's just a gray dude for Spider-Man. And for an animator, that's the best dude. That's the best thing to have. It's just, it's just a silhouette that you have to animate at that point.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like this whole conversion to 3D in different ways is really good.
And that's the we were having this conversation a little bit just the other week where Disney is trying to say that their way of making movies is a brand new way, and relax. It's not. it's just like I guess technically it is when you start combining these different art forms together to create that new thing. So it's everything from 3D to live action to 2D to everything being mushed together, and that's what we're starting to see these days.
Yeah, when I find this, I want you guys to see this. People in chat, all those guys are talking about. This is like should inform how you do even your stuff, like just thinking outside the box, how you make the same thing, right? It's really interesting. Let me go to my Slack. It's already 1 o'clock.
Disney messed up after all the short paper. They should have made an entire movie with this method. Paperman. Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree. I thought Paperman was.
And the biggest thing with Sony is that like Sony has a license with Marvel that they're never going to give up, because Marvel used to almost went bankrupt a long time ago. And when they did that, Marvel was licensing out their stuff to a bunch of different major studios and stuff like that because they needed money to keep open. So all Sony has to do is like every so often make a Spider-Man movie, and the license is reset.
Yep.
For however many years. And just this time they got it right? They made a new thing that's totally different. It feels fresh. A video game in this would be perfect. There's marketing dollars and all this stuff, merchandising, all this stuff. So they just hit it. Just give me Mouse, because people like black people. Just it makes you money. Look at Black Panther. Just do it.
Yeah.
Don't give me like a Spider Pig movie, because I don't really want to see it. I'll go see it, but I don't really want to see it. Don't give me that film noir BS, because that's kind of interesting. He's kind of funny. I don't want to watch a whole movie like that. I fell asleep almost on what's the other movie? The serious movie, Alex Ross.
Alex Ross
with Mr. Manhattan and all that stuff. With the big blue dude who was naked.
Oh yeah.
I don't. Sin City. No. You're close.
Man.
That too. I don't want to. Yeah, that was all black and white. I don't want to watch that either.
No, it's not Sin City.
It's not Sin City. It's
had a super saturated look to it. And Paperman saw
no. It's the movie live. It was live action.
Dude, everyone was upset because his penis.
Watchmen, dude. Thank you, Rookie Tune Studios.
Okay.
Thank you. He's like, dude, Watchmen. Like, don't you hate when people can't figure out what they say? Like, yeah.
He's hitting his head on the.
He's like, it's Watchmen. Yeah. So like, I don't want to see that. I don't care how interesting you can make that. I don't want to see it. I want Miles, and I want you to go out full because I read the comic books. I want the full universe because that's interesting. I mean, maybe you could throw in some Spider Gwen. That's okay. I kind of like that. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, that's PC part picker. That's not it. That's not it. Here. Oh, Slack. Where you at? There you are. Okay. So
yeah, that's a good question. Long Arm was asking Deborah, what movie should they make in Paperman style? Go ahead and show whatever.
yeah, I am. I got it up right now. And I'm just going to do application window. All right. So here's the model. Here's the finished model from Spider-Verse, right? It's a Spider-Man model, right? So if you zoom in, if you go to it, I'll put the link. Carlos will put the link to the guy, Yashar Kasai, something like that. I'm butchering the guy's name, but here you go, Carlos. You can put it in the link for them. There it is. It's Instagram. So he's talking about all the different models and stuff he does. So this is the paint version. Look at the 3D version. That's it. Now, if Alonzo's still here, he'll tell you right now that he'd be screaming right now because like that's all they really want. That's all animators want. You hook a rig up to that, that's all they want. They don't need like a high poly crazy, like that could be like scaled really nicely. You can use a proxy model to animate, and it's just a silhouette. That takes you back to like when you're learning how to do animation, right? It's just a dude. It could be anything. It could be like a blockout dude, you know?
And are they just like doing like a marker rendering?
It's still like a texturing over the whole thing, and there's some other probably like effects in it. But look at it. All right, so look at the asymmetry here. Check out the head. And this was Danny showed me, and it blew away. You see how it's not perfectly circle,
Yeah.
right? Boom. See it?
Oh,
You see how it's like slightly sloped? Because if you had to draw Spider-Man and you draw him a bunch of times, you wouldn't draw that head perfectly anyway, right?
yeah.
Either construction lines or whatever, right? Even after you ink it, like so all the models. So every time they hand a model off, Danny was telling me when he was at Juniors, all the models have a starting pose, right, in the position. So if they get stretched and bent or whatever, every animator gets that starting pose, and then that's the pose you start from, and then you start animating your scene. So all the animations can be the same, right, or can have the same feeling. I just think that's really cool. They put that in that Danny pointed out to me because that's really cool.
It adds to the texture, to the flavor of the movie. Like legit, if you flip through those very same pictures, you see even the coloring is they just kind of
like look at the legs and stuff too. Like
that's legit. That would be like if you're working in an ad agency back in the day and they're having you mark or render a product, that's what it would look like.
Yeah. And then and look at this. So it's the back to it. You see how long the legs are a little bit longer and stuff. And he's like really long and lanky. But look at that close up. Look at they have everything in there, dude. That's a really good texture. Really good. Even the lines don't quite match. Look, the lines kind of like erase out and stuff. They're not fully they don't fully connect and stuff. We were noticing too. And then look at this. So you can see all other types of shapes and stuff that they have in it. And look at all this like extra lines that they're just like construction lines that are still in there too. Like how long for the look dev? If you're the look dev artist, how long? How many versions of Spider-Man did you have to do?
Oh no, you know what's funny is
this is what you guys don't understand. You're doing this for like a year.
It's probably so like one of the concept artists was in there is like just fucking boop 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 and threw some colors together, la la la, and then they showed like the creative director and they're like, I love it. Make it look exactly like that. And the concept designer's like, what? Okay, sweet.
Right.
Like, we're gonna go with not so perfect.
So we got some other ones here you can kind of see. Look at those lines there. You can see messier down here. Almost like you get messier the farther down you go because
Yeah, because no one's gonna be looking down there anyway.
right? It's like crazy cool. There was one of the Prowler I thought I could have swore I had that one too. Because that one was really cool too. But yeah, um, they also went as far as like to model in like imperfections in his lip and how he spoke, and it made it seem like it was even more lifelike.
That's crazy talk.
It's cool. But yeah, guys, check it out. We'll show more later, but we could talk about this all night. But yeah, good night.
Yeah, right.
It's cool, guys. Check it out.
There was a. I was actually trying to figure out how to bring this up into the conversation too, and this is Robin Hood with the fox jumped. Oh, okay. So long arm. So long. The chat has been talking about what movie would be good in the Paperman style, and long arm said Robin Hood with the fox would be cool. Part of me thinks that would be amazing, but Robin Hood is already perfect, so don't touch it. But no, I mean, I think it would be, I think it would be so incredibly outstanding to see that happen. But I wanted to show you guys this because
Hey, Deborah, you got an art station? I'm looking for your art station. I don't see it. I found one, but it said it was like a broken link.
There you go. Early storyboards for Spider-Man Into the Universe are nothing short of amazing.
You want to be a storyboard artist? Here's your blueprint.
Right? Okay, come on. Let's go. Let's go. Okay.
Oh, wow.
There's music to it too, but sorry you guys can't hear.
That's crazy. What are they using? Doesn't Jack say storyboarder or something? Is that a program name?
Tell you the truth, I'm not 100% sure what they're using. It legit looks like dude drew this and then cut it out of paper and then pasted it on top.
Probably just drew it in Photoshop.
I think that's what they did.
He probably just drew it in Photoshop and then put it on different layers.
Okay, yeah, these are, and look at the 3D action. Did you happen to notice that?
Yeah.
Look at the depth on this bed. Watch. You see how the front is moving in parallax?
Yeah, see, that leads me to believe it's like some other program than just the Premiere or After Effects. Like what scene? Because this then would say this is 3D. Right? Only other program I know they would probably be able to do it and look like this would be like a blender. Like a grease pencil. So what are they using? So they got some
dude,
because it's got to be 3D the way it's parallaxing. It's just cards, unless it's let's see, are using 3D software and it's just cards. They're just
you can legit do this in After Effects, like you said. You just set up the different depths and then you move the camera within that environment. But yeah, this man. Okay, all right. Let's see if we can find out.
Broke the third wall. You're like, man.
Yeah, I have to stop because I'm gonna watch that like just by myself with a glass of wine. I want to see if they talk about software. Yeah. So number one, we're gonna artist inspiration, Alberto Mieglo, uh, Pinkman.tv. Follow him on Instagram because this dude is
Got some cool
just
stuff though. Look at that.
crazy. Look at
Is those
goodness
photos or are
gracious.
those drawings?
Those are drawings. I'm just trying to not
Get flagged.
not have not get flagged. Um oh, there you go. Compositing in After Effects, editing in Premiere.
Ah, so good.
Mieglo drew these tests with pencil and digitally in Photoshop, doing the compositing in After Effects and editing in Premiere.
Oh, I'm good.
And we're back. Talk about full circle. We started the conversation talking about Adobe and we ended talking about Adobe. Like, if you are in the 3D world, I don't know if you have anything to worry about. Having a juggernaut like Adobe jumping in and picking this thing up. Like, what software do people use to do like really good texturing and like texture painting?
Substance Painter, Amari. Yeah.
And that's like Photoshop.
It's like it's just you import your model in, bakes all the maps out, and you paint directly on your model.
No,
or ZBrush. You can do the same thing in ZBrush too.
Yeah. Imagine being able to do that, but like in Adobe Creative Cloud.
That's what Substance will be.
They kill all the companies they bought. they buy. And then there's that too. I mean, but at the same time, like when they got Macromedia, they rode Flash into the ground. What else? Dreamweaver was a Macromedia thing, so Dreamweaver's around.
They were saying that like Mixamo, which is another program we used to use for like animation, they saying the head of Mixamo is the guy who headed up Project Aereo. And then that same team, since it's a 3D team, is a team that's doing Adobe Dimension. So one of the big caveats to help put out the fire when people were saying like, well, they're going to kill it, is that like that guy's still around. He was the CEO, and then now he becomes vice president, heads up that section. That's how you got those two projects. So Substance has nothing to worry about. Algorithmic has nothing to worry about because their CEO becomes their vice president and head of all 3D. And then the studio and the team is still there. And then they just keep business as usual. They keep working, keep making cool stuff. So now, if I was like the makers of Mari, I'd be a little scared because whatever money the Substance Painter was not able to get based on R&D, now they have a full Adobe R&D department, and they can put all their money toward like really, really taking over the visual effects market. Because that's what the only thing was, because they got the game market. They're starting to move into visual effects and being able to like paint, Lord of the Rings level, dragons, which is usually using UDIMs, which you already have support for that. And UDIMs is a process of having a bunch of texture maps to make up the model, right? So your face could have 15 of them, so that when you zoom way in on that shot, you see down to like pore, So I think they'll be fine. I really do. I think Adobe probably had to take this one smart and like just say, yo, here's a wing of the compound. This is all y'all's. Just make cool stuff and we'll be good. Which is what companies really do, right? As long as you making a profit for them and everything's good and the user base is like huge, and technically your user base is most, if not all, the gaming industry outside of outliers, and then like the people like Frame Store and the Mill and a couple other places have already been doing commercials. A bunch of small post houses have been doing commercials with Substance Painter and stuff, and they just have a good solid portfolio. Like, why not buy them? Really, I just hope they just keep the pricing. I'm not worried about the program because the program there's nothing like it. And their other new program they have coming out called Project Alchemy was another more along the lines of those procedural based programs that was going to change the industry again. So I'm not worried about the innovation in for the programs. It's like the cost effectiveness and the cost of like having that. Because like if you loop it into Creative Cloud, well, now an artist that only has Substance was only paying $20 or had a perpetual license and they were cool, and that's all they needed because they're a 3D artist. They don't need the Creative Suite. Now you're asking them to buy the Creative Suite, and you're asking them to use Adobe Animate that they're never going to use, but they got to pay for it, because it's bundled in. Will they go the extra mile and have those truncated suites just for like a 3D artist? Because they don't need all the extra stuff.
And that's where it's going to get super messy, right? Like, do I need the photographer bundle? Do I need the 3D guy bundle? All this other stuff. And the one thing that I do appreciate about what they're currently doing is, well, number one, I use a lot of their software for all kinds of stuff. And when you're tossing in some 3D stuff, if it's there, I'll get back into 3D, no problem. Like, I was good at it back in the day. For me, not gonna lie, the thing that kept me from, and I think we addressed this problem earlier, the thing when I was doing 3D was that whole rendering thing, and the computers weren't that good. So you model, and then you render just to see, and then it takes an hour and a half just to see. Whereas if you're able to model and then put it in real-time rendering, now you're talking. Now you have my attention.
Now you're watching it while it renders, right?
Yeah,
when you move the viewport. Yeah,
I don't have the
patience,
concentration, the patience, for that stuff. Like,
or your computer time, the computer rendering time. Because it's based on computer specs and stuff.
Yeah, I don't have the time in my brain to, like, legit. I would click render and I would go off doing all kinds of other things. And by the time I come back, like, I'm just not in the mood anymore. And that's why I went the Flash route, because I was able to just put something down and something showed up just that fast.
Yeah.
And something like this would definitely get me playing around a little bit more with 3D again.
Yeah, come on back.
Yeah, right. Now, after these storyboards, man, and I got a couple stories that I've been working on too. Man, this is legit. Oh, damn. It's super late there in Chicago, and I just sent Ryan a text.
You woke him up?
Probably. Sorry, Ryan. Anyway, with that, let's go ahead and wrap this one up.
Okay.
I'm gonna head down to LA tomorrow morning.
Nice.
But yeah, like, the good news is we are officially on Discord. So yeah, hit us up, y'all. We're on Discord, and we're gonna play around with that a little bit more, get it nice and tight, and we can use that for I mean, we can combine everything there, like everything, the Sketch Zone hotline, the chat, everything over there on Discord. So this is gonna be good. Real fast, Charlie, where can people find you online?
Find me a couple of different spots. You can find me at my website, which is cargocollective.com/CharlieB Williams. You can find me on ArtStation, artstation.com/CharlieBW3. Instagram.com/ you guessed it, CharlieBW3. Almighty Pinterest, Pinterest.com/CharlieBW3. There's a bunch of boards there. 68,000 views last month. It's really good. Check it out. There's a bunch of different stuff. That's where I'm gathering my inspiration for all these different projects that we're working on here. And I use it like daily. I use it daily. Get into that Pinterest life. It helps you out.
Yeah.
It helps. It makes you more aware of different things too. I don't know how many. I think I've read more anatomy tutorial things that I have ever would, because it just comes up and I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting, So like, there's a bunch of things there. Check it out. Getting Your Life.
Nice. Thank you, sir. And Jack wasn't with us this week. He's traveling for work, but he's sketchbookjack.com, sketchbook Jack everywhere else. And Alonzo, we'll see you next week. You guys, if you've been playing around in the chat, you've noticed Alonzo is in there. So he's coming on. He's going to be our guest next week. And I said Discord. We're on Discord now. And let me see. I had my notes up, and I bet you Noelle is not here anymore, because otherwise she'd be like, yep, you lost another note. Here we go. Oh yeah, I can start with my own stuff. I'm coconutjustice.com, Coconut Justice everywhere else. And do me a favor, especially if you guys are listening right now, go to coconutjustice.com. That's going to bounce you to my other YouTube channel, and please subscribe. Please subscribe. Yeah, so coconutjustice.com, Coconut Justice everywhere else. Sketch Zone podcast can be found at sketch.zone, and we have all of our social media links there. We're on Facebook and everything else, Twitter, and on Instagram. This week we are drawing Star Wars Gangsta in Noir style. So we're going to be talking to Alonzo about that next week too. So yeah, and then if you're on Instagram, go ahead and post that on Instagram, tag us, we'll share it, and then again, we will show it on the show, like we always do. If you're watching on Twitch, the subscribe button is up here somewhere. Go ahead and click that, subscribe. We're here every Thursday. If you're on YouTube, there's a link down there. Go ahead and click on that, and there's a little bell. If you click on that, whenever we go live or we post anything, you'll get alerted, so you can come and hang out with us. And yet again, if not, and you want to still interact with us, go ahead and hit us up on the Discord channel. And if you can't watch us live, you can catch us on Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, and of course, iTunes. That's it for us this week, guys. Have a wonderful week.
See you guys.